झनकार दुनिया भर में मशहूर है, बल्कि ये कहना गलत ना होगा कि पश्चिमी जगत में संगीत को जो पॉपुलैरिटी हासिल है उसका सेहरा आप ही के सर है। पंडित रवि शंकर का सितार तो सभी ने सुना है, लेकिन इनसे बातचीत का मौका बहुत ही कम मिलता है। आजकल वो अपने कॉन्सर्ट टूर पर यहाँ आए हुए हैं और कुछ दिन पहले हमारे स्टूडियो में भी आए थे, जहाँ मैरियन फॉस्टर ने उनसे बातचीत रिकॉर्ड की।
Ravi Shankar, you're only doing one concert in London this year, but in fact you're still travelling tremendously, aren't you? How much time do you actually spend travelling year by year these days?
Well, I travel quite a bit, but I'm planning to travel much less and spend more time in India. In fact, I'm settled in Delhi now. When I say settled, I've just started.
How do you find audiences now in the West? Are they much more knowledgeable than they used to be?
Definitely. Now it is no more the fad. That period is finished, you know. Mid-60s to beginning of 70, there was that sitar explosion, if you remember. It was good in a way because it brought a lot of young people all around the world to our music. But because it was like a fashion or superficial, gradually it died down. But those who remained are still there, and I am very happy to say that today we have the best audience, much more understanding, appreciative and respectful.
Who is your audience then now? Is it still mainly young people?
No, it is a mixed group now. But a lot of young people are still there. But their attitude is, as I said, much more respectful and understanding.
Do you read an audience? When you start playing, can you sense that an audience is with you? Because you could play for many hours, couldn't you? And you had to make your ragas much more compact in previous years. Can you be more relaxed now and let them last a little longer for Western audiences now?
Well, you know, the word vibration, that is something which an artist can immediately sense, and we feel that very strongly. Some places one feels much more inspired because there's much more, you know, rapport. In our country, of course, it is much easier because there are more people who understand, and there's a constant rapport between the audience and the musician. And in fact, the listeners also participate, like, you know, saying, "Wah wah, bahut achhe, kya kahne, ah ha ha." You know, things like that they softly say, which is saying like, "Bravo, wonderful." So, it is easier to be inspired in our country. But here you see the system is very different naturally, because concert going discipline is much more older here. So people sit down quietly, but doesn't matter. We feel immediately. If
you have brought Indian classical music to the West, but I wonder if, because of your success all over the world, whether you've helped to keep Indian classical music of importance in India itself, because they're all the influences of the West. The electronic sitar exists, doesn't it, in this type of thing, and Western music is gradually spreading all over the world. Do you find that through your work that the sitar and Indian classical music is still important?
Had I been 15, 20 years younger, maybe I would have been influenced in some way or the other, or gone along with the, you know, this whole thing that came in the 60s. I tell you, I became a cult guru, and I was almost like a pop star. But being matured and very much steeped down in our music and culture, I wasn't swept, you know, and I have not been influenced ever by any outside influence, in musically, that is. One thing is very much misunderstood in some way. It has been misunderstood that in the beginning, when I say beginning, in the earlier stages, I used to play some of the numbers a little shorter in duration and try to give more in number than just play one long raga and finish and have an interval and another In the beginning I used to play maybe 2 ragas in the first part and another 2 ragas in the second part. And many people sort of criticized, they thought I'm trying to, compromise, but that's not true. A raga, as I hope you know what a raga is. It's very hard to explain a raga really, because it's not just a melody or a key or a scale. It's something all together, but it's something very special from India. It's a melody form, that's the easiest way we can say, which has its own ascending and descending structure. It has its own personality, and what is very important that each of these ragas are associated with morning, afternoon, evening, night, etc. But there's no hard and fast rule about the duration. It's not a composition in the Western sense. There's no 5-minute raga or 10-minute raga or 1-hour raga. One can play as long as one wants, depending on the listeners, the atmosphere and the inspiration, or one can play in a shorter period. And that's why our great masters, some of the immortal records we have, starting from 3.5-minute records to 15 minutes or 20 minutes, how could they do it if that was the case? So that is the only thing I did, as far as in the beginning. But nowadays I don't do even that. I play, almost like I do in India.
You were saying that you want to spend more time at home. But how do you divide your life now between teaching and composing and performing?
Well, I try to make it as proportionate as I can. I'm working very hard nowadays with about 5 students I have, and they are very young. They range from the group of 16 years to about 20, 25. And I'm working hard with these 5 very talented students that I think they have got tremendous future. You see, I started having schools. I had school in Bombay, I had school in Los Angeles, but then I gave up. I knew that I cannot run a school, because to run a school one has to be there, put, there. Everybody wants that Ravi Shankar should be there. And that I couldn't do with my concertizing and performing. Therefore, I believe in really creating just a few very good students, in the old Indian style, as we did. This is an oral tradition, as you know. It's not a written down music. So you have to give a lot of time and concentration to create a good student.
When it comes to performing, do you still enjoy
Yeah,
performing
I perform.
and touring the world?
Right. I perform a lot in India also. And then, you see, I'm trying to make it in a way so that I'm almost 7-8 months in India, and rest of 3-4 months I just travel outside.
Well, I know certainly your teaching is very important to you, but I hope in the future you won't forget the rest of us, and that you will still find time to visit London from time to time. Ravi Shankar, thank you very much.
Thank you.
पंडित रवि शंकर से मैरियन